One of the options for handles on your bag is to have leather handles. I have figured out a way to make a leather handle out of something that is pretty readily available at a craft store. What these are called leather belt blanks. Usually they're used for tooling leather because they're to use for a belt. The pattern calls for an inch or an inch and a quarter leather handle. These ones are just for reference. These are an inch and a quarter. I prefer the inch wide ones, but they didn't have them available at the time. So it's up to you. I probably wouldn't go above an inch and a quarter because then it gets too wide to bend nicely around the top of your bag. So what you want to do is go ahead and cut your leather handles to length, and the size is noted in your pattern. And to cut the leather, I have an old rotary cutter with a blade that I write leather on, and I just always cut my leather with a rotary blade and just always keep that aside for leather. You don't need to buy any special tools to cut it. You will need a special tool to punch the holes in the leather. If you're at the store, in the section where they sell the leather belt blank, they sell awls and hole punches that you can buy. They're very inexpensive. Or I have a crocodile that I've had for years and it works great on leather. So I like to go ahead and use that. So what you want to do is you want to, first of all, find the center of your belt blank. This is an inch and a quarter one. So 5/8 inch will be the center of the belt blank. So I'm going to use these smaller marks on the bottom here to find my center, and that is 5/8. And then I'm going to come over, so I'm right there at 5/8, and then I'm going to come up to a 1/2 inch and place a mark. And then keeping that right best I can lined up, I'm going to go ahead and place another mark 1 inch up from that, so 1.5 inches from the bottom, but 1 inch between the two marks with my pen. Okay, then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to use this, and I want the 1/4 inch hole. This has a 1/8 and a quarter, so I'm going to use a 1/4 inch hole, and I'm just going to line it up so that the mark is in the center, and then just go like that and punch out that hole, and then go ahead again and then punch out the hole. And then to punch the holes on the other side is actually pretty simple because you've already got it measured. So what I usually do is just kind of get them lined up just exactly right on top of each other, and then use my pen to go ahead and mark it, and then you're going to go ahead and punch those other two holes the same way you punch those. So I've got a piece here that's already been punched. Okay, so on your bag, this is where you are with your bag. You've got the bag constructed, and you've got the bag band sewn, and if you're going to top stitch, you've got it top stitched, but you don't have this lining stitched down yet. So we're going to go ahead and pull the lining out, and we're going to use our ruler, and we're going to measure over 2 inches from the side of the bag, just like that. And then I'm going to come and place my handle on the edge of that right there. And I'm going to put it so it kind of just sits right on that stitching line. And then I'm going to place a mark with my pen at those 2 points. And I'm only going through the canvas and the bag band. I'm not going through the lining. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors, and I'm going to very carefully, without cutting myself, cut that until I get a hole that will fit a 1/4 inch grommet through. Okay, so what I'll do, what I like to do is kind of cut it out like that. And then I'll pick up one of my grommets and just see if it fits, and then I know that I've cut it enough. Okay, so I've cut it enough. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of plastic canvas, and I've got the plastic canvas cut so it fits right in that bag band, and I've used my crocodile to punch 2 holes in it in the same spots as my leather handle. So all of these pieces fit together. So to assemble this, what you're gonna do, you're gonna start with this on the outside, and you've got two parts of your grommet. And I'm using these grommets that screw together. There's also ones they sell at the store that use a hammer and a tool to set, and you can totally use those. Just make sure if you buy those that you buy the tool that goes with them to set them. But I like these because I feel like they're a lot easier to work with. And usually I just work on one at a time. I'll put that through the leather handle and then come over to the other side, flip the bag over, try and get that fabric out of the way so you can see what we're doing. Take my plastic canvas right there, and then take the other part of the grommet, and it just screws in. And you can just use your fingers to tighten that in. Just like that. So we've got one set. Also, while I'm back here, double check that my plastic canvas isn't too tall. And I feel like it's like a hair too tall right now. So I'm just gonna trim it just a tiny bit, just so I know it'll nest nicely in there when the bag's done. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one. And this one's a little more tricky because you've got the plastic canvas in there, so I still kind of try and do it one layer at a time, just to make sure I've got all my pieces lined up. Flip that over, get that lined up, just like that. Okay, so I've got it lined up. I'm just gonna use my scissors because it looks like I got a little bit of fabric in there. It's not gonna attach very easily otherwise. Let's see if we can get that in there. That's the wrong piece. And you've got to get it started straight. And once you get it started straight, then you know you've got it. Okay. Okay, so then you've got your handle set. So now all you're gonna do is just take the other part of the handle and set it on the other side, and then go ahead and repeat the exact same process on the other side of the bag. And next, I'll go ahead and show you how to attach leather handles to your bag if you're using the type of leather handles made for purses that already have holes punched in them.